Legends Limited Metal Cooler. Let me talk to y'all for a sec, because this character is a character that is much anticipated for me. I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z movies fan. Cooler is my favorite movie villain, and the Return of Cooler movie is actually one of my favorite movies ever. So I was really excited when this character was revealed to be the next LF unit in Dragon Ball Legends. And I was excited. I summoned for him, was lucky enough to pull him, and I had like mixed opinions on him. I didn't think he was good or bad, because I had him at low stars, so I was like, hey, maybe if I get him at higher stars, he'll be better, perform better. But this was like the honeymoon phase. I was still coping. I was still in that mindset where I was oblivious to the truth. But then as time passed, I started to evaluate him more clearly, do a lot more research and studying, and looking at how he performs in the hands of other players, other setups, watched different showcases, got my friends' thoughts. I was discussing it a lot with my guild chat, and we all came to the conclusion that this character is bad. Like, he actually serves zero purpose, and it's not even funny. He fails fundamentally at literally everything that he does. And it's such a shame, because for one, I think that his visuals are amazing. Like the animations, the green card animation, I think is very cool. It's a shame that the green card doesn't do much, by the way. It's a very useless green card. It's a counter green card that counters strike cards, but then it doesn't really reward you that much for landing it. You can land it and get some benefits to it, but the reward is not worth the risk of trying to parry an attack. That's beside the point. The blue card looks really good, destroys a Dragon Ball, whatever. And the character model and stuff like that, I think is fine. The ultimate is good looking. I'm not really a fan of the legendary finish. By the way, that legendary finish animation is the exact same animation, frame for frame, as the first Metal Cooler in the game, the red one, or the free to play blue one. They both modeled after the same animations. That ultimate is the same as that Cooler's blue card, literally the same, but they just slapped the legendary finish logo on it, which is unacceptable, because his non-LF ultimate actually looks a lot better. And I feel like the ultimate should have been the supernova instead of the lock-on buster, because when you think of Cooler, who thinks of the lock-on buster? It's a cool move. Could have been, I don't know, green card, blue card, whatever. But even the non-LF ultimate, they could have just swapped them around, But I don't know. No one thinks of the lock-on buster. They think of the supernova when they think of Cooler. But yeah, so this character is the first unit in Legends that revives twice. Well, it's not called revive, it's called comeback. It's the comeback ability. The first non-ultra character to have the comeback ability. Before, comeback was an ability that was exclusive to ultra characters like Golden Frieza and Turles, but then they decided to give it to this guy. I thought they were gonna give him the Nappa mechanic, the mechanic that the yellow Nappa from the 7th anniversary had, where you pop his green card and then he summons a Cyberman. I thought they were gonna do something similar there, where Cooler summons another Cooler, but they didn't end up doing that. They ended up going for comeback, which means he loses one life, he comes back as another Cooler, then he loses that life, comes back as another Cooler. He revives twice essentially. And on paper, that's a very OP ability. It's very strong. A character with 3 lives, how could they mess that up? Well, they did, because this character, again, I'm gonna say it, he's useless. And I can get some use out of it because he's a character that I like, that I'm a fan of personally. You know, like outside of this game, I'm a fan of this character. So I'm gonna, you know, try and use him, make him look the best as I possibly can because it's a character that I'm a fan of. I wanna use him. It's not like, you know, I don't like try to like follow the meta. I go for characters that I like in the anime, that I am a fan of outside of this game. That's always been my philosophy when summoning. Like, if you're a fan of the character, you should summon for them, regardless of how good they are. Unless it's like in an extreme case and you just want to win. Then I'll say, you know, summon for the meta characters. But this was a character that I was really looking forward to for a really long time. If you look at the history of Metal Cooler in this game, the red one, when I started playing, he wasn't really that good, but like, you know, as a beginner, I liked using him. I thought he was cool. I thought he had cool animations and abilities. You know, his Zenkai was also kind of cool to me. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I was okay with it, so that was fine. Then we got the green sparking one, which came out in 2020 after the 2nd anniversary. I thought he was really good, and you know, he had like really cool animations as well. No problems there. Then we got a free-to-play one. The blue one was modeled after the red one. I thought he was a really good free character. No problems there. Then the EX one, who came out in 2023, the yellow one. I think he's actually one of the better EX characters of all time. So like that, you know, like across the board, there's like good to great Metal Cooler characters. Then, you know, we waited 5 years since our first actual sparking, not counting the extreme one, Metal Cooler in Dragon Ball Legends 2025, after the 7th anniversary, after the after party. Let's go. I'm excited. I'm hyped after the reveal. I'm talking to all my friends. I'm like so excited. And then, you know, reality sets in, and unfortunately it's another very underwhelming character of 2025, and this has been a pattern this year, honestly. Like, it's not just the fact that we haven't gotten like a really strong purple character in the game since Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, which is over a year ago at this point. It's also the fact that there's been a lot of hit or miss powerful opponent characters in the game this year. Like, I think out of all the powerful opponent characters that we've gotten this year, the only good ones that come to mind are Ultra Cell, of course, Ultra Golden Frieza, and the LF Saiyan Saga Vegeta. Those are like the 3 only good LF characters that dropped this year. The others were like really mid, and also like Demon King Piccolo. He was also a purple LF powerful opponent character, and you know, he shares a lot of tags with Cooler as well. They're both regen, they're both powerful opponents. A lot of people were anticipating Demon King Piccolo in the game, and you know, he was rubbish. Like, his one job was to Rising Rush you, and you know, if you guess his Rising Rush is basically useless. I feel like they should have gave him the 6th anniversary Vegeta mechanic where he has the unguessable rush, but they didn't give him that, and you know, he was very underwhelming otherwise. The rest of his kit, other than his Rising Rush, and you know, he ended up paying the price for that. And you know, he was basically dead on arrival, honestly. And now this Cooler here, like, I don't even have the words to describe my disappointment. I'm a fan of Demon King Piccolo, but I'm a bigger fan of this Cooler, and like, I'm not someone who like spent 1 million CC to get him. I got him in about 11,000-12,000. You can check out my summon video if you think I'm lying or whatever. But I don't... What is the point? Why did they make him like this, you know? Why would you waste all that time and resources putting so much effort into his animations, aside from his LF, of course? He looks, like, visually he looks amazing, right? Even the comeback animations, they look really good. Why would you go through all that trouble just to make him bad, you know. I feel like they didn't playtest him, like they really overestimated how impactful his 3 lives are gonna be, because like sure he has 3 lives, but then those 3 lives, they go away just like that, you know. He gets caught by Namek Goku's lock-in, or you know, any like competent yellows, blue card, ultimate, whatever. He's basically gone in like 1-2 hits, you know. He basically loses a life. And the fact that they made him a defense type who can't really defend is puzzling to me. Like, is the defense type, does it make him defensive that he's supposed to die and come back? But then, you know, when he comes back, he like serves no purpose. Like, okay, if their philosophy was, if he was a quote-unquote defense type, why couldn't they just make it so that every time he dies, he comes back, but like his damage goes up like dramatically, you know? Then he's like a bit better, you know? Because like he comes back and he gets like extra defenses and stuff, but it's not like by a large margin, you know? He's still pretty rubbish. In his 3rd life even, like he's not very good or competent in his 3rd life, and like there's points where you don't even like make it to his 3rd life because, you know, these matches, they drag, and you don't want to stay on the field with this cooler that much because he can't eat hits, he can't take hits. And when it comes to the match going to timer, and you know, this cooler gets caught with the rising rush, it basically puts you at a disadvantage to run this character on your team, honestly, because he takes so much damage, and matches go to timer way more frequently now than they did in previous years. And once that happens, if he gets rushed, never mind he has 3 lives or whatever, if he gets rushed in his 1st or 2nd life even, and you know, the match goes down to timer, I'm sure that like the ratio is gonna be like, for example, you'll have like 10 million inflicted damage or whatever, and your opponent who locks you in, for example, with Namek Goku and decides to rush your cooler, I don't know, maybe they'll get up to like 100 million damage inflicted, you know? That's just the predicament that this cooler puts you in. Like, the longer that the matches go, the more disadvantaged you are with this character. And the matches are like always going long. So like, why did they make him like this? Like, if, in my opinion, if they wanted to make him a defense type, then make him a defense type. Like, you could have given him like 0 offense, but as long as you made him the most defensive, tankiest character who could eat all these hits, I would have been satisfied. Because, you know, defense type, that's your role, know it, stick to it. Defense types don't need to be doing damage. That's not what I look for in defense types anyway. If I wanted them to do damage, I would, you know, want them to be a different typing. But if he's a defense type, then make him a defense type, make him defend. And it's not like they don't know how to make defensive characters. I mean, look at Kaioken Goku, for example. His gauge is like similar. By the way, Cooler's gauge is like way more inferior, even though it came out months after Kaioken Goku. I don't know why that is a thing. Yeah, Kaioken's gauge, it like keeps resetting as he gets hit, and you know, like it makes him tankier, more bulkier. You know, like it adds layers to his defense. So like he can stack the damage card like almost infinitely, you know. That is a good defensive gauge on a character that is not even a defense type. So like, what are we even doing here, you know? Then like going back last year even, they dropped that Purple Garlic Jr., who I thought was a really good defensive type. And he didn't do a lot of damage. Here's the thing, he didn't do a lot of damage, but he was really tanky. Really, really tanky. And you know, he was a chore to get through. Even like characters like Ultra Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta had trouble dealing with him. That's how tanky he was. Why not put that into practice with this cooler. Like, you didn't have to give him the 3 lives, for example. Maybe you could have given him 2 lives at least. If you thought that the 3 life was, you know, too powerful, then why do it? Or if you were gonna do it, then maybe test him out and, you know, push back his release even. Like, you didn't have to drop him now. You could have tested him and released him a few months later, but I guess they wanted to rush him out because, you know, LOE was the flavor of the month, and, you know, they decided to not test this character. They thought that the 3 lives would be enough to sell him, and, you know, shame on whoever did something for this character based on the fact that he had 3 lives. You know, the people who weren't fans of this character to begin with, but, you know, they wanted a character. They were like, hey, 3 lives, that's gonna be really strong and useful. Psych! It wasn't. But I don't know. I'm not, I didn't write any thoughts down. This is just me venting about it. I don't know, man. Like, I'm still gonna, like, try and use him, because, like, I'm a fan of Cooler, but I feel bad for the fans of Cooler and for whoever summoned on him, wasting, you know, precious money and resources trying to get this character who isn't even worth it. Like, I saw Goresh, I think he went like 100k or something for 1 copy of Cooler or something like that. Like, that's painful, bro. Like, if content creation wasn't his job, I would have felt so bad for him. But, you know, hopefully Red Cooler, Final Form Cooler, he's gonna get his Zenkai soon. Maybe his Zenkai is out by the time you watch this. Hopefully, I think the best case scenario now, other than Metal Cooler straight up getting a emergency buff for emergency equipment, I think the ideal scenario now would be for the Zenkai Final Form Cooler to be an absolute menace who just shreds all the yellow units in the meta and snuffs them out, so that it makes the meta environment a bit more safer to run Purple Metal Cooler, because, right, Purple is in the worst state that it's ever been in. There's like 0 purples running around in the meta. You can just run mono green if you wanted to and not have a care in the world. And, you know, the strongest colors in the game are yellow and green. You know, yellow's the advantage element to purple. Namek Goku is running around. You got Ultra Super Vegeta running around. You got, you know, Full Power Frieza. He's not that common. The yellow one, and of course the green Ultra one as well. You know, they're running around as well. You know, Kale and Caulifla, they kind of common as well. It's really difficult for yellows. It's really difficult for purples, I should say, to, you know, find any spot in the meta. Like, I think that in order to create a better environment to run this cooler in, we need to get these yellows out first. So hopefully Red Cooler can do that for us, because right now the red element is not looking too good as well. Like, it's being carried right now single-handedly by LF Kaioken Goku. I feel like, actually, now that I think about it, we could use a release of every other color except green and yellow, but mainly purple. We need like really strong purples in the game. I don't know if Tani's favorite color is green, and maybe Toshi's favorite color was purple, and, you know, when Tani took over and came in, you know, he decided, I don't like that guy's favorite color, and then he decided that his favorite color is gonna be the new top thing. Could be possible, but I don't know, man. Feel sorry for this cooler. I'm upset. I feel like I was robbed, especially because I've waited like 5 years for this character to drop, and, you know, this is what has been presented to us in the year of our Lord 2025. After everything that's been done, it's like the yellow Goku black situation, you know, like it's similar but not entirely the same. Like, you know, their gauges are the same as well. Like, you have to reset with the blue card. I don't like that. And, you know, it's weird because Super Baby 2 dropped in like, I don't remember what month he dropped, but he dropped like before the 6th anniversary, right? And his gauge was like perfect, and it was like very similar to this gauge. And then they dropped Goku Black after him, and I was like, why didn't they make Goku Black's gauge like Super Baby 2? And then they dropped Kaioken, who had a similar gauge, and they actually did that one even a bit better than Baby's gauge. Then they dropped this guy, so like they're moving forward and backwards, you know, it's one step forward, two steps back kind of thing. Very puzzling. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their thought process is. Why would they even drop this character like this? That's all about it I have to say. Like, I've said all that I needed to say. Probably gonna say a lot more if Red Cooler ends up not being ideal, but yeah. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.